This changes everything for Bitcoin and crypto markets. Everything. Are we about to see a larger bull market than we saw in 2020, 2021? We've got some incredible data coming out about potentially a huge new kind of stimulus coming back to the market. Bitcoin and altcoins are about to absolutely melt to the upside. And for those of you that are paying attention, you're going to see Bitcoin pump, altcoin pump, your portfolios pump. And there's going to be so many people that are going to be left behind in this because they're getting lost in this max capitulation, max frustration. They're tired of the chop in the market. And all of this is about to change so very soon. If you are ready to dive into this, everybody, let's get active in the live chat. I want to see you get active. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Do you think that this is all just a facade? Do you think this is all going to break down? I know that I'm seeing data and I'm about to break this down about what is about to come. So, everybody, let's get into it. We're going to be diving right in today. I want you to throw something in the live chat. Let me see that you are alive. I'm so happy to be here with you all. I'm still traveling, so I got my basic setup. So don't mind my camera. The screens are all looking beautiful. Bitcoin altcoins set to explode. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Hit that like button, subscribe button, and ding the bell. Let's go. Bitcoin, crypto, everything. I mean, I am so ready for this. Are you not ready for what is coming? Yes, we are still sitting in this exact same range that we have been in right here. I've had some issues with some of the things going on in with my Discord access, but I'm getting that sorted. I'll get back in there. It's perfectly okay because the price action has done nothing of relevance other than allowing us the opportunity to get set up. I'll be coming back live with some member streams starting tomorrow and through the rest of the week. But I want you all to realize what's happening right now. This is just driving this max frustration in the market as the price action, look at this, is sitting right in the middle of this entire range as we see it right here. Furthermore, when we come over here and we look at the total, which is everything minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, we realize, let's go out to the 3-day chart and realize we are just, yes, we tapped where this previous all-time high was. Massive washout here on altcoins, but then still sitting up right in this channel. It doesn't mean altcoins are about to rip in this moment, but the setup is real. And we're going to be talking about this because we got some incredible news over the last couple days and some I'm talking monumental changes that could absolutely impact everything going on in this market. But how are you all doing? How are you feeling? Let me head over here and let me see. Well, oh, Alexandra G gifting 5 memberships. Big love to you. I see who else we got in here. Mr. Space, Mr. Crypto Space, Eric Taylor, Don't Touch, Dale Rodriguez, Kingston Crows, Megana Ventures. How y'all doing? Tucker Crypto, One House Productions, Jesse Gulluck, I guess, Atropine. The fam is here, and we're going to have a lot more people tune in here in just a moment. And also shout out to, where's it at? Shout out to everybody that's tuned in here on X. Big love to you. Everybody hit this retweet button, hit this like button, show some love. We're ticking up here on X as well, up over 36,500. I've been hosting a lot of spaces also on the Mario Nawfal channel. Panels, discussions, tying in some great connections for people that I can bring into the BitLab community and teach some incredible stuff as well through those connections. But let's look at the market. It's kind of a new thing. Feels fresh today to see some greenery in the market. This is just, it feels good after a couple days of red. In fact, when we come over here and we look at the week, we still have predominantly kind of mixed signals here, but more red than green. But the ones that are green are really pumping. Sonic, obviously, the basically previously Phantom, gaining a lot of TVL, a lot of money flowing into Sonic at the moment, taking a little bit of mind share, market share, so on and so forth. But we're going to have to keep an eye on that. XRP, also big news there. We're going to be getting into that in just a second. But coming back over to the markets, Bitcoin. I mean, let's zoom in on this. Go on there to 2-hour chart. We're getting this price. I mean, we saw this big V-shaped recovery. right in here, but starting this almost like this extended Adam and Eve pattern, but holding. This price action is rounding the bottom right here with a little deviation to the downside. We got the money flow trying to tick back up. The VWAP is angling back up. We're getting a little bit of signs on the 2 hour that we're getting, I don't want to say overheated, but probably a little bit of a pausing point as the price action is pushed up into this zone right here. Almost, check this out. Almost as if we do get a pullback. This is why when you understand technical analysis, it does you absolutely, it benefits you so much. Because if you see this topping out and it bothers you, you can also realize, let me actually make this brighter so you can see it. You can also realize in the same moment, rather than be frustrated with this, sort of pausing this bullish momentum, we have the opportunity here that if this does pull back, something like this is starting to form this inverse head and shoulders, which is a reversal pattern indicating that we may be getting a move that would look something like this back up here to attack that $100,000 level. Will we get it? I don't know. I do think that it is leaning that direction. So let's keep our mind fresh on this, because while this can be frustrating, it's only because you need the price action to do something at this exact moment. In fact, when we zoom out on this and realize these bars, this horizontal support line, previous resistance, we've had this on the chart for a couple months now. And we've seen the price action interact with this zone. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times. And so that gives you some indication when the price action is coming back into this. This has been seen as support. And the fact that we're gaining it right now, we could have, I don't want to say forecasted that, but you could have predicted with pretty high probability that this was going to be an area of interest for price action to likely bounce from. And if not, remember, there's always an and if not, right? If that area is lost, then this is what we're going to be looking at. Price action likely coming down, testing into this lower range. This is not playing out at the moment. So we're looking at this other opportunity right in here. And this would be that shoulder, the head, potentially shoulder here, that could start that next leg up. But what will do that? What will drive it? Let me come back over here. I have to do this to see your comments today. We got everybody in the house, Veteran Crypto, Granny's Garden, fam jam time. Let's get into it. Well, first things first, we're seeing the start of the setup, and we've been seeing a lot of stable coins getting minted and deployed into the market. And remember, when these coins are deployed into private wallets, into the exchanges, this tends to be a setup to then do what? Trade those stable coins for crypto. So if you're trading these into the market, this $1.25 billion worth of stablecoins minted in the last 24 hours. This shows appetite for converting fiat dollars into stablecoin, which then therefore could be transacted for crypto. So we may be seeing the start of, it doesn't mean it's going to happen in this moment or the next day or the next 3 days, but we're seeing the signs of the appetite and the preparation to make fairly large purchases. And remember, FTX is in the middle right now of also starting that $18 billion, it's 16, or I can't remember at the moment, 16 or $18 billion getting redistributed back to creditors from that FTX debacle over 2 years ago. And that's, I think they've gotten a little over $1.2, $1.3 billion already sent out. And this is going to be persistent over the next about 2 or 3 months. But we're also seeing stablecoins getting deployed into the market as well. And this is in the face of some of these major things. Now, here is something that I want you to realize can change the game in ways I don't think people even understand. Now, this is still speculated, but this is major. And that is right here. Are we going to potentially get an all new kind of stimulus? Remember, we had $1,200 stimulus out to everybody during COVID. I just want to point something out to you here because this is going to be very important. I'm going to go to a cleaner chart right here. Okay. So this is when the stimulus came in, $1,200. Right here, March and April. And I did this a little bit shorter just so I don't get an astronomical number. It actually started about right in here. This is about where the stimulus started getting deployed. So let's just go a little bit conservative here. We'll do it, about 660. Uh, from this point when the stimulus was sent out, that $1,200 to U.S. citizens, we saw a 660 plus percent increase in price action. That was with $1,200 getting distributed. If something like this happens, and this is what I'm talking about, Elon proposed, and they are discussing potentially doing a Doge dividend check for every taxpayer. Doge could send $5,000 checks to 79 million taxpaying households using only 20% of its projected $2 trillion savings. Now, you might ask, how the hell would they be able to send this money back? Because if they already have, if they're basically saving $2 trillion, I did the math on this. It's basically $395 billion. I did when I did the math earlier. If we were able to get this back, this would be money that has been misallocated, misappropriated, overspent, blah blah blah, sending sort of a bit of a I don't even know what you want to call it. It's not a hey, I'm sorry. It's just a reimbursement back to people because all these funds have been so misallocated. If this were to come in, even half of this would be 2,500. If this were to come in and we see what the impact of the $1,200 stimulus was, and also where we were in the market cycle, roughly about the same spot we're at right now in this market cycle. If we were to get $5,000, now realize 5,000. The multiple of that from 1,200 is, I think, 4.16. I did the math earlier. Let me do this again. Clear. Yeah, 4.16. So 5,000, you can't see this, divided by 1,200, 4.16. Now, this is just moon math. So do not go and do a target like this. If you were to do 4.16 times the amount of money that was coming in just from these, from that reimbursement, on this, that would be 4.16 times, I'm doing the math, times 660. That would be 2,750% instead of 660. Now, we're not going to even look at that number because it will absolutely blow your mind. That would put Bitcoin up here at about $2.7 million a coin. Now, the reason why I point this out is because some people do that math and they go, this is the target of this cycle. It's not. I mean, could it happen? Sure. It's such a small probability because there'd be so many sellers between here and there to get it up to that point. The point I'm trying to make here isn't that we're going to get a 27x from where we're at by any means. Not maybe over the next 15 years, sure, or 6 years, something like that. Maybe even shorter than that, but not this cycle. Where we're at right now with the price being at about $96,000, if we were to get a $5,000, essentially quantitative easing, that's essentially what it is. It's money getting sent back out to people that is going to get deployed into the market. This would only substantiate these price targets. Let's go ahead and delete this because it is ridiculous. It would substantiate those targets that when we're looking at, yes, this 120,000 target I think is absolutely doable. 157 to 165,000, the 1.618 of this move, absolutely doable. But then it starts making more sense if this sort of reimbursements, tax misappropriation reimbursements back to taxpayers. This when you start seeing, there's areas in the 245 to 350, somewhere up in this region seems a lot more doable. I don't want to say likely, a lot more doable in this market. But the point here isn't what are the targets all the way up here. This is going to just distract the life out of you. The point here is when we're looking this on the 6-hour chart, people are going, is the market topping? And this is in the face of, massive changes of happening in our government, spending, an administration that's entirely focused on, crypto and technology, AI, empowerment, and how do we strengthen and attract those types of minds and businesses here to the U.S. as well as, stacking into and creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve, not only at state levels. We're seeing that, I think 33 states now have some sort of legislation that they're working on towards that. But also the national level. Also, we're seeing international level of, this Bitcoin arms race. That's just that side. But look at these other factors that are coming in here. So moving beyond that, we also see Donald Trump posting two XRP articles back to back on his True Social platform. This is in the face of everything going on right now. It's not just Bitcoin. It's not just Ethereum. We see World Liberty Finance stacking Ethereum and Aave and Ondo and Move and Chainlink. But also now XRP has been in the narrative. And when we come over here and we look at XRP, it's kind of, waking back up just a little bit here. I mean, look at this. I mean, this now is basically a sideways range. We can kind of delete this because this is played out here, but this is just in a sideways range, much like we saw with Bitcoin when we just zoomed in on that a couple minutes ago. But if this is part of this narrative of not only made in America, but also some of the new infrastructure layers that we're building in the US within blockchain, within crypto, within the global financial payments and financial markets sectors, and this is really integrated and supported by the new administration. I mean, I know a lot of people back here were thinking this was dead. This maybe hits $1 again, and then we got this massive explosion. The entire narrative in the last 4 months has changed around crypto and what is possible. So, can this go up to $10? Can this go up to 15? Can it go up beyond? Sure, I would be a little hesitant beyond about $9, because of how large the market cap would be at that point. The point being here, there's so much higher to go in this market. And the things that are being layered into, the discussions, the meetings that are happening with these different major players across the crypto ecosystem with some of the decision makers here in the US government, as we're just now at this cusp of getting things integrated in a major way, guys, we are not bullish enough. So when we look at this and then we wonder, people are wondering about the price action being too high. Well, look at this. The cost basis right now is $95,000. We're holding above it. ETFs, the custody wallets, their cost basis is $89,000. This is that number I've been sort of talking about, $89,000, because it's also just below where that new whale cost basis is, meaning the average price of all the new whales in the last year and a half, what average price they got their coins at. But then we also see the Binance traders, their average price is 59,000. We got so much support below us, and we're not even really breaking through any of this. People were getting so unnecessarily worried just because price is consolidating at a certain level. But then continuing on here, I also think this is a very important tweet from Matt Hyland, and that is this. If a large entity wants to buy crypto cheap, all they have to do is launch a rug meme, which creates a fire sale as liquidity, leaves other coins to go to that rug meme. We saw this with Trump coin. We saw this with Melania. We're seeing this with this sort of persistence of these other coins within the meme ecosystem, that as all of this liquidity in the market is getting sucked into this essentially casino, it's sort of left it's stolen the ability to have momentum in other sectors of the crypto market. But what we're seeing is there's starting to become a bit of exhaustion in that meme coin casino. There's starting to become a little bit of a, okay, I think it's time to move back to utility and larger plays. Or all the meme coin degenerates, the liquidity is already sort of getting sucked up and eaten up by the major players out there that are just extracting your value. But either way, this is interesting to think about. Are there some backroom dealings going on where they're just trying to divert liquidity to other things to create better price action opportunities for all these institutions that are just now really starting to become aware and really starting to get in? Now, this is a bit speculative, but let's just be aware of that, because we can see, this is what I'm talking about. The number of institutional holders of the Bitcoin ETF is up 54x in the past 11 months. Now, this is going to be a little deceptive. I don't want to say deceptive, but remember, we had the Bitcoin ETFs launched January 11th last year. So 1 year ago, 1 year ago from right now is right at, 1 month after those ETFs launched. So there was a little, I don't want to say, it took a little bit for people to, get their ducks in a row to start layering in, whether you're institutional or retail. But even here, I mean, look at this, March. March 2024, 61 up here. February 2025, 3,323. This is insane. But even this jump here from March to June, from 61 to 1,576, the point here isn't the time frame, or I mean, you could do the time frame, but the point here is from the launch of these Bitcoin spot ETFs that gave the real opportunity. This is before fair value accounting, mind you. That started in December. This gave institutions, pension funds, mom and pops, people out there that weren't actively in the crypto ecosystem and people in the crypto ecosystem alike, opportunity to get exposure to Bitcoin. And this is on an institutional level, only increasing from here. In fact, the numbers just get better and better. Over 30% of ETF holdings are institutional. This is incredible. And think about this total Bitcoin ETF holdings, 1.18 million Bitcoin, not dollars, 1.18 million Bitcoin. And 342,000 of this is institutions. Mind you, this is not MicroStrategy. This is not Michael Saylor. This is because they have their own that, they're not buying ETFs, they're buying Bitcoin. Michael Saylor has 477 or 479,000 Bitcoin. And here we've got the institutional people, institutional buyers of the ETF. Out of this 1.18 million Bitcoin, 342,000 of that is owned by institutions from the ETFs. So things are really starting to cook up here. Things are really starting to set up with the obvious and now the overt visibility of the way these major players are stacking in to Bitcoin. And I can only imagine the types of products, services, custody, trading, all these things. We talked yesterday about Google setting up, a more integrated Bitcoin buy, sell, trade, store solution to simplify it for the everyday person that's out there, using Google, using Gmail, and all these different tools that, Google has a massive customer base. And remember, if Google is setting up services or tools for their users for Bitcoin, they're going to be getting some level of exposure to Bitcoin at some point. And that will be one of the biggest stories in Bitcoin ever. And I'm going to be in before that. Hell, I'm in it now, right? That's why we're here. We're stacking in before the biggest players on earth get, the overwhelming share of the supply. I want to ride the wave that they're going to drive because I was in before them. So if you can get behind that, let me get back over here. I want to see what you guys are saying. We got Bad Fox, Steve-O, Cursing Parrot. I used to have a cursing parrot. So good vibes from everybody today. 423 here on YouTube. How much we got on? We got another 344 on X. Shout out to everybody here. You know what? I love you all. I appreciate y'all. I hope you're all doing really well. I know I'm having a good time here, spending some time with family here in Nevada, get some other work things done. But then in addition to that, then we also see the persistence of everything happening on the state level and international level. Texas Bitcoin Reserve Bill expected to pass committee after first hearing. This would be major. You realize that Texas, the size of Texas economy, let's see. As of 2023, Texas's economy was $2.6 trillion, making it the eighth largest economy in the world. So Texas getting a Bitcoin reserve isn't just, oh, it's a state, it's not the nation. This is larger than every economy in the world other than the top eight countries and or California. California, I think, is number 5 economy in the world. So this is larger than almost every country globally, other than those top 8 economy, the 7 economies larger than this. This is so much larger than people realize it is. This would. We are so impatient with everything happening right now because we want the prices just to go up. They're going to. The bullish platform that we have for the crypto market is so nonsensical when you really take everything into account. It blows my mind, even myself, that we are frustrated with the price not running away right now. Why the hell would we be frustrated when we know how bullish this is? rather than taking advantage of the price where it is now before it takes off. Understanding this really changes the way that you navigate all this that's going on. Then we see not only that, European Central Bank finally capitulating, says Trump's orders on crypto pushes banks to get involved. So the European Central Bank, regardless of whether they like crypto or not, whether they like Bitcoin or not, this has become an international point of concern and a point of focus that you must get involved or get left behind. So the level of pivot that we've seen in the last 2 years is astronomical. For me, I've been in the space, since about 10 years now. So I remember if you even spoke about crypto in public, people were like, they thought you were just out of your mind, insane. We had people like Larry Fink, Jamie Dimon, Kevin O'Leary. You just name different players out there on the global stage. Bitcoin was this terrible thing. Crypto's for drug dealers and money laundering. But now this is the point of conversation with every major financial institution the world over, as well as world governments. And people are saying, why isn't it moving? In my opinion, I think it's kind of being suppressed right now. In fact, what does Samson Mao say? Seems like it's some sort of price suppression of Bitcoin. And this is a legendary Bitcoiner right here, Samson Mao. He says, if you look at the price movement, we peak, then we stay steady, and then we chop sideways. Yeah, it's good. You could say it's consolidation, but it just looks very manufactured. So whether or not this is a case, if we are aware of this, we can take advantage of participating in the opportunity that this manipulation or suppression is providing right now. If it is being suppressed so the big boys can get more swings at the bat right now before the price runs away, if we're aware of that, then we can prevent ourselves from being frustrated and we can take advantage of this opportunity. So continuing on, what else we got? Tomorrow, Fold will become the first Bitcoin, and this is today because this was from yesterday. Fold will become the first Bitcoin-only financial services company to go public on the NASDAQ. So I waited to do this because I wanted to do this with you. I've never heard of Fold. Fold Bitcoin Services. Let's see. Fold. Okay. Let's see. What is Fold? It's an app. Okay. Fold is a financial services platform and not an FDIC sure banked. If you have a Fold card, accounts are subject to pass through. Okay. So essentially, it looks like we're starting to see developments beyond these everything everybody knows. There's different services, different uh, banking services, different financial services, and this is going to be a persistent thing over the next, several years as this industry starts to get further developed and integrated and the adoption grows. Because as adoption grows, then so too does the awareness of the space grow to other entrepreneurs, to other opportunities, to other services that get developed around this. So, and this is getting listed on NASDAQ. NASDAQ. So just more eyes for awareness for the development of this industry. Then we see right here, Hong Kong unveils Aspire roadmap to become global crypto hub. This is on the doorstep of China. China has lost over $15 trillion from their stock market valuation, I think since 2021. We saw yesterday in the last few days that the global liquidity has been ticking up, both in the Chinese liquidity getting pumped in, the global U.S. M2 money supply also ticking up, and this is on the cusp also of what we're just seeing about potentially not only massive savings here in the U.S. from all the misappropriated funds, I'll say it that way, or overspent, excuse me, funds identified by the Doge Department of Government Efficiency. If we get that $5,000 back and we're seeing global liquidity tick up and we're seeing Hong Kong starting to really step into crypto and potentially China, and the European Central Bank also is saying, hey, every bank needs to really pay attention to Bitcoin. The targets we have, every model we have is broken. We need to be paying attention to this on a daily and weekly basis to make sure that we can adjust course and make sure we can ride this dragon in the best way possible. Excuse me. something in my throat. So it is getting more and more bullish by the day. And the fact that the price is just saying, hey, you still got your opportunity right here, baby. Just take your swing, sit down and be patient. So where else we got? I think we got two more things and we're going to dive into some charts. Could this be where we're at? Let me go ahead and zoom out of that so you can see it. Could this be where we're at? About 3 to 4 days ago, everybody's wondering if we were up here near our top. 6 days ago, a week ago, everybody's like, we're somewhere up here in the thrill and euphoria. What if? What if we're right here? Based on all the things I was just talking about, the platform, the sort of the architecture of support or suppression that we have built over the last 2 years. I mean, really over the last 16, but in the last year and a half, 2 years, and has only gone exponential in the last 6 months. That is here in support and empowerment of the crypto ecosystem as compared to 5 years ago. And what the amount of capital channels and those capital channels that will lead to further promotion of these different Bitcoin products, these different Bitcoin services, the awareness of what's happening in the crypto ecosystem could suggest that we're only here and we do get this just melt to the upside. Now, the question here is, I want you to realize this does not mean from here to here is going to be from here to October of this year. This could be something that plays all the way into the middle of 2026 and beyond, all the way into 2027, based on the schedule of things that happen from international different sovereign wealth funds, announcing their different Bitcoin purchases, strategic Bitcoin reserves on here, a national, state level, and the international level in terms of what China does, what Russia does, what Australia does, what South America, different South American countries do. What that buying schedule is going to be and how persistent it's going to be, and also what happens to the lack of supply. Because remember, we're at like near record lows for available supply on exchanges. So what happens when you're getting 200,000 Bitcoin purchase a year from the US? You're getting, let's say, 15,000 from this country purchase a year, 100,000 from China. There's going to be no Bitcoin available on exchange. So what does that mean? That means I'm talking about this underlying just available, not in somebody's wallet. What happens when there's no supply? This is what my mom asked. She goes, how is the asset class going to deal with that if there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin, and then everybody's buying, hundreds of thousands of Bitcoins, including, remember, the ETFs and the scaling up on that. Well, then what is supply and demand? If there becomes increasingly less available supply, then that means the demand drives the valuation up. That's what we need to realize here. Now, that doesn't mean up only. You need to realize that. People hear what I just said and they go, well, why is it dipping? Because it doesn't change the nature of how markets work, where you do get a push up over speculation and then a bit of a sell off, and then a push up over speculation, a little bit of sell off. This is just the nature of how markets work. And once you realize this, you can take advantage of it rather than the market taking advantage of you. But as it stands right now, this is just looking like a bit like a bull flag that is still preparing for that next leg up, and the leg ups, onward and beyond. And then, I mean, guys, I'm so darn bullish. And then we see the other half of stuff, not just Bitcoin. The White House Council engages with blockchain industry leaders. I've been talking about this the last few days, but with Bo Hines and the White House Council on Digital Assets, they met with people from Ripple, which is XRP, Constellation DAG. Remember, when I look at this list, these are major players, right? Cardano, essentially, Avalanche, Filecoin, Near, Aptos, Ripple, all of these major market caps. And I actually did a post on this the other day. Let me pull it up, x.com. Let me come over here. I just want to show you. And I showed you the other day, but this is important. And it is right here. Market cap shows this is the low market cap, I should say, for Constellation DAG. Constellation DAG has such a low market cap shows that this is among the best opportunities in crypto because of the types of partnerships and everything that it's doing. And I'm not sponsored by them. And this is just a great, great opportunity because we come over here, we go to watch list. Now let's go to market cap. Okay. Now let's see. Constellation, it's going to be market cap 90 million. It's going to be right in this zone right here. Constellation DAG, it's number 294, $147 million market cap. $147 million market cap. And it's up there on the stage, on stage, are discussing working with XRP, Near, Filecoin, AVAX, and ADA, and Aptos. So coming back over here, let's go to market cap large. Okay, now we got Cardano is 27 billion. Avalanche is almost 10 billion, 9.8 billion. Aptos 3.8 billion. Near 3.7 billion. And we got Constellation DAG on that list at $147 million market cap. I mean, and they like this is the most under retail is so unaware of this for whatever reason. And it just blows my mind because when this pops, I think it's going to be an absolute game changer for people's portfolios, which is why out of everything that I've narrowed my portfolio down from in the face of some of the risk off environment, DAG is one of those I actually added to as I was, sort of focusing down from other riskier plays. Now, you could say it's a micro cap or a very small cap because it's 147 million, but they have partnerships with U.S. Air Force, Department of Defense, U.S. Transcrime, U.S. Treasury, U.S. Air Force. Panasonic's launching on them, so it's like okay, that to me feels pretty integrated. It's not just hey, this is a promise of what we can do. They've been having these contracts for years. They're only now getting made aware to the public. So. At your own risk, Then we see right here, ETH continues to witness more inflows. Meanwhile, huge outflows from Sol. Everybody was saying ETH was dead only a few days ago. ETH is dead. ETH is dead. ETH is dead. Well, turns out that now it's kind of reaching that point where we're getting in this influx, and we've been pointing this out the last 2-3 weeks, where whales, big money players, World Liberty Finance, Trump's company, also TruthFi, right? The media company that he also has, and many other players as well. Whales stacking into ETH while retail is going, oh, it's dead. It's never going to happen. And now we see, okay, I mean, look at this 59.73 million versus 5 million versus 4 million versus Solana minus 10 million. Now, is Solana dead? Absolutely not. But we saw a huge focus on Solana over the last year and a half. So it makes sense a little bit that, especially with everything going on in the moment, that there just tends to be a rotation of focus, which also brings a rotation of capital. And when you notice that, when everybody's funding something, and it's the largest crypto ecosystem out there, and everybody looks at it and they go, but it's dead. Well, then we come back over to Ethereum and we see, I mean, is it dead? I mean, really, it's just a giant ascending triangle. Rising level of support, flat level of resistance right here. Now, it could still take some time to break out of this, but this coming down into this zone, into this trend line, large wick comes right back up into the zone. This was peak opportunity, in my opinion, here. And then again, we look here on the ETH to Bitcoin pairing. Also, massive sell-off. Bulls brought it back up. If I had to guess, massive multi-year, year and a half long bullish divergence on the ETH to Bitcoin pairing suggests to me that this is about to start to make that move back to the upside. Now, with everything going on in this market, I mean, then I forgot to also mention Binance Restore is starting. It says restores, but I know it's not fully restored yet. They're restoring fiat deposits and withdrawals for the first time since 2023. This is Binance.us, meaning you'll kind of like Coinbase, how you can go and deposit direct, your dollars into the exchange to trade. They're making that available again, after all the kerfuffle they had with Binance and CZ and the court case and all the stuff. But I think this will be good, especially in the U.S. having more exchanges that are centralized, so it's not just focused on only one opportunity here directly in the U.S. But guys, I'm as bullish as I can be. With everything going on in this market, let me kind of switch. Where's this other? Right here. With everything going on in this market, the the frustration that I'm seeing with the market not moving right now, it's like take advantage of it while you can. Chris Pfaff says CoinW also offers DAG. Yes, CoinW does. MEXC. And remember, DAG is also made in America. Constellation DAG. So think about that. If it's not listed on Binance, if it's not listed on Coinbase, so on and so forth, as those do, step into those opportunities, and you get a huge amount of liquidity that comes in as well. And on that note, I do want to shout out really quick before we go that we also saw, let me come over here, let's see, Leonidas from Dog. Remember, this is a fully community run token. This is now launched. They're deploying, remember, Operation Dog Domination. They're doing Wrapped Dog on Solana, where you can, and I would really just come over to make sure you're following Leonidas at Leonidas NFT, so you can make sure you find correct contract addresses and stuff. Because none of the centralized exchanges are because this isn't a coin that's like, let's make money and extract value. Those coins go and they pay centralized exchanges to get listed. Dog on Bitcoin will not do that. So what they've done is they essentially, as a community, Leonidas orchestrated this. Let's get this deployed in liquidity to be able to trade on a number of different chains. So now, as of today, you can trade Dog on Solana, and it's essentially wrapped Dog on Bitcoin on Solana. So you can trade it in the Solana ecosystem. And it's going to be across multiple other different chains as well here in the very near future. So I wanted to shout that out. You can now swap assets to Dog directly on Phantom Wallet. And remember, guys, I still think out of all that de-risking I did, I only added to my Dog. I did not limit that one at all. And remember, the chart's still the same. And look at this, guys. I had not seen this in the last few days. We got this whole pattern with the falling wedge. Came a little bit below where we wanted our buy zone to be, but falling wedge still within it. Massive sell-off opportunity right back in. And look at this. Now it's coming right back in, basically forming a potential bottom here, just as we're starting to get, Dog is starting to get more exposure and access points across other chains. In fact, I was listening to the Dog spaces, Leonidas and some of the community were doing earlier. Somebody was mentioning if they're doing this wrapped on Solana, then this may be an easier way for it also to get integrated and listed on other centralized exchanges as well. So this may be peeking into that opportunity, because remember, everybody, look at this Dog to Pepe. Let's look at this chart. Look at this chart. So here is that pattern. See, with the roundingness, the falling wedge into the breakout. Okay, we got the roundingness here. Look at this. Tell me that doesn't look almost identical. Falling wedge into the breakout, and that was a breakout for 10x with a little bit of a pullback, and then another 6x, which ended up being like a 27x total, I believe. And this is right there on that cusp. And again, I'm not suggesting you buy it. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm just showing you what I'm looking at and saying, hey, if there's any higher risk plays that I would get involved in the that sort of casino side of stuff, I don't put Dog on Bitcoin in that category, because it's got 100,000 wallets and it's very distributed and there's no KOLs and it's just community token, culture token. So figured I got to participate a little bit in something, one of these community tokens that are out there. But with that being said, everybody, I love you. Ondo, absolutely, to $4 soon. I do agree with that. Yeah, Dog was up like 20% earlier, and it's up about 12% today. But yeah, I love you guys. I appreciate you. I've got to run to another meeting here in a little bit. I'll be getting some member streams out here in the very soon. H-bar cruising right now, almost up 400% on my long. Shout out, Dave Middleton. Breaking trend. BDC, way more upside too, says Luke. How you doing, Luke? Granny's Garden. Yeah, so I'll be back in the studio too, I think, next week. So you get all the proper lighting and the better camera and all that kind of stuff. Oh, let's see. Sold 100K. Kelly lies to his followers. Let's see. Okay. Dog Tao BGC failures. I don't know I don't know what you mean, but I'm pretty honest. I've been pretty damn transparent about everything that I've done. So appreciate you. Sold 100K. What about you? Thank you for the engagement. Love you guys. Hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.